You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
Those words, uttered by Dr. Dre at the start of NWA's hip-hop anthem, Straight Outta Compton, gave many Americans their first look at the new Wild Wild West. The city of Compton, California became synonymous with gangsta rap and the lifestyle surrounding it, and spawned some of its biggest stars, including Kendrick Lamar, The Game, Coolio, and many others. In many ways, the city of Compton became a star in its own right, being mentioned and shouted out countless times in lyrics. And while those lyrics are true and accurate, they don't tell the whole story of Compton. To take a deeper dive, we head straight into Compton to speak with a lifelong resident and a current member of YouthBuild Compton, Eladio Cruz. What were you doing before you got involved in YouthBuild?
Well, it's kind of crazy. I guess I wasn't doing much with my life. I was just chilling with my friends. I wasn't up to no. I want to say I was up to no good, but it wasn't like that. But yeah, I wasn't on the proper path I was supposed to be. Okay. And one day I found the program.
Okay, so you're not necessarily out there causing trouble in the streets, but not necessarily doing anything productive either. What was that like for you? Was it happening? How did you feel about that?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. It kind of sucked because I felt like I have a whole lot more potential, and I wasn't going nowhere doing anything with my potential.
I think that any time potential isn't realized and potential isn't met, that's a really frustrating and kind of like disheartening place to be. So I would imagine, you probably were kind of feeling down on yourself. You were probably feeling a little bit like life's not going the way that I want to. So you said you found out about YouthBuild. Yeah. How did you find out about YouthBuild?
Well, one day I was on social media. I was scrolling by, and the program. I found the flyer on Facebook, and the flyer it said that they would pay you, and they had paid training, and they would help me get my high school diploma.
That's always a big deal, man. That high school diploma opens up so many doors for you, and I know it's frustrating for some of our older students. That door closes and, you're stuck with very limited options, but the fact that YouthBuild could kind of open that back up for you, that's absolutely fantastic. Now, I know it's hard for you to kind of imagine this, but let's say you never came to YouthBuild. You would have just stayed on the path you were on. Where do you think you'd be today? What would have happened?
Well, I think I would continue to be on my bad ways. I would still be chilling at home, not doing much with my life, still chilling with my friends. No job, no nothing, and thanks to YouthBuild. Well, the first thing is that normally all job requirements are high school diploma, and right off the back, I didn't have it, so it's a lot more tough for me to get a good job without a high school diploma.
Yeah, that high school diploma, like I said, is going to open up so many doors for you. Now, have you gotten your high school diploma?
I'm on that track. I should be graduating in the next month or so.
Oh my gosh, dude, that makes me so happy. Like, that genuinely makes me so proud. How does that make you feel? What is that feeling like, knowing that you're a month away from this goal that almost fell out of your hands, but now is going to happen in about a month?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel wonderful. It's like it opened the windows to me. All my doors closed since I dropped out of high school in the 11th grade. And I thought I wasn't ever going to get it. And thanks to Compton YouthBuild, they've been helping me out day by day. They push me a little harder to get on track.
That's what YouthBuild programs do. Just push you a little bit harder, a little bit harder, a little bit harder, and then you're amazed on how far you came. So, a high school dropout, and now you're about a month away from getting your diploma. Can you tell me what your loved ones feel like? Can you tell me what your family and your friends, what do they think about all this?
Everyone's actually proud of me. They thought I wasn't going to go one step forward, but it's all with their extra push. It's been helping me, and they're supporting me as well.
Yeah, I'm a really big believer in that support system, and a lot of young people don't have that support system, so YouthBuild can kind of step in right there. But one of the things I always try to talk to my students about is, a lot of people, young people in particular, talk about like, oh, my haters make me famous. My haters are my motivators. And that's okay. But I really want you to think about those people that believe in you. I want you to think about your family. I want you to think about your friends. Don't prove your haters wrong. Prove the people that believed in you right. You know what I mean? Like, prove mom right. Prove your, your brothers, your sisters, your whoever. Prove them right, because they're the ones who have been in your corner since day one.
Yeah.
Well, excellent, man. Excellent, man. So you mentioned that you were a high school dropout. why didn't typical school work for you? What challenges did you face there?
I guess hanging around the wrong people, and then I live in the ghetto, so
Okay.
I live in the bad neighborhoods, and you know, all odds are against the people. So
Yeah, when you have no positivity around you and you're just surrounded by negativity, by, depression, by poverty, by those kind of food insecurity and all those different things, man, it can be so, so very difficult to kind of pull yourself up and to see that there's other possibilities out there, let alone go get one. So it seems to me that YouthBuild was kind of one of those things that helped push you along the way. Now, you mentioned that you found YouthBuild on Facebook. You mentioned that you found them via social media. I want you to kind of go back in time, and I want you to think back, 6-7 months when you first started YouthBuild. What are some of the memories you have of those early days?
well, since I started since the pandemic, and it kind of sucked at the beginning. I had like how to explain, but I wasn't really feeling it.
Okay.
Because we were doing it on the computer, so I was at home at first. So it's like you could only learn so much. I was kind of losing hope since everything was on the computer. But once everything started opening up and I started getting hands on and we started making it to the site, everything was going wonderful.
Yeah,
That's
I started as an instructor at YouthBuild during the middle of the pandemic, and bro, it was unbelievably difficult for all of us, I would say. I think that, you were not unique in your struggles there. I think most people in any situation, all of a sudden having to work from home and doing stuff via virtual meetings and stuff like that, dude, it's frustrating. It's hard. It's difficult. So I can't say I'm surprised that there were times you kind of doubted yourself and you were like, I don't know if this is going to work. What made you keep going? What made you keep trying to push through?
Well, I was trying to do better for myself and for my family as well. I'm trying to one day get out of my neighborhood, like I said, the ghetto. But yeah.
So I think that's a good time for me to ask you a little bit about your neighborhood, your city, and kind of everything, because, I'm in the middle of Ohio. So the only real experience I have with Compton is through hip hop. And that's kind of where it all starts and where it all ends for me. So, just tell me a little bit, what is life like out on the West Coast in Compton? What is it? Well, give me a little feel for everything, man.
Honestly, I wouldn't know where to start, but the hip hop and the rap that scene, that's a pretty good image of
okay
of our neighborhood, I guess.
Okay. So how did you, what made you believe that you could do this? Because like you said, man, when you're surrounded by depression, when you're surrounded by negativity, it's very easy to just say, man, I'm not even going to try. What got you to go? What got you to believe in yourself?
It was the actual like the counselors, the teachers. It was them mainly, because on my part, if I put very little on my part, but they pushed me the extra so I could get my things together.
That's awesome, dude, and I'm sure that your instructor, Mr. Carter, will be very happy to hear that. He was a very big part in getting this all kind of organized, so I'm sure he'll be happy to hear that, and I'm sure he'll be very proud to know that he was a part. I'm sure as well as all of the other instructors over there at YouthBuild Compton. So tell me a little bit about kind of what you're going through right now. You said you're about 6 to 7 months into the program. What are you working on? What are you doing? What do you have kind of on your goal sheet right now? What's going on in your life?
Well, right now I currently finished my MC3, the multi-craft core curriculum, and I'm trying to get in the union as well. And
Okay.
thanks to Compton YouthBuild, they've helped me out to meet new people and to figure it out.
Do you feel more confident after going through the YouthBuild program?
Well, yeah, because without the program, I would have never been able to figure out or open up my potential more, pretty much.
Yeah, and without somebody kind of showing you that, hey, this is a possibility, it's very easy to fall back into that kind of mindset. You said you were thinking about joining a union.
Yes, sir.
Which union are you trying to join, and what about a union job is kind of speaking to you right now?
I'm currently trying to get into the carpenters union. I'm trying to do scaffolding. I have a relative that does. He's a foreman for a scaffolding company, so that's the route I'm trying to head towards. And thanks to the resources of the program, I'm getting one step closer to that goal.
Yeah, I understand that, man. I understand that. It is a job that is in demand. It's a job that pays well. It's a job that you can be proud of, that you work with your hands. So what about construction is speaking to you? What about that carpentry aspect? What do you like about that world?
Well, I like building new things. I like seeing the before and after when you demolish something and then you build it back up. What else? Well, I have relatives that work in construction, so they push me towards going towards that direction. I see that they have their house, boats, cars. I want to be on that.
That's awesome, man. To see what you could be is always so very helpful. And like I said, so many YouthBuild students don't have that support system. They don't have those role models. The fact that you do is absolutely fantastic, man. And I really think that's something that you should be, embrace that. And, whoever it is that you've got in your life that's in your corner, man, try to keep them there and try to keep proving them right and try to keep, being on the I'm making you proud side. So I want you to talk a little bit about your staff because you've mentioned them a couple of times. You've talked about, what a big impact. Are there any staff members in particular that you feel like have made a big impact on you?
Well, Mr. Carter, Ms. Jackson, the construction instructor as well, Mr. O.
Okay. Tell us a little bit more about each one of them. What's worked well with you and why have they made such a big impact on you?
Well, Mr. O's been helping me out with the small things I don't know because I had little knowledge prior to joining the program of construction, and they're helping me out learning the legit way by the books, how everything goes,
okay,
how everything's done
instead of the way you were doing it. But, okay.
And well, Miss Jackson's been helping me out. Like I didn't have a license. I've been riding dirty since the age of 16.
Hey,
so she's finally helping me get my license.
Explain to the people at home what riding dirty means, because they probably don't know.
Oh, yeah. Riding dirty is pretty much driving without a license, no insurance, no registration, none of that good stuff.
Jeez, man. Jeez, that's making me nervous just hearing about that. So that's awesome. So you did get your driver's license?
I'm currently working on that.
Okay.
I'm on my last step. I did the written test, and now I'm waiting on the appointment for the driving test.
That's awesome. In my opinion, the written test is a lot harder than the driving test, but either way, man, you got to make sure you get them both taken care of. And I just want to pause right here, and I want to talk about Mr. Carter in a second, but I just want to pause right here. And bro, you are about a month away from your diploma, and you were on the last step of your driver's license. Dude, you should be so proud of yourself, man. You should be just patting yourself on the back and because dude, those two things, those will open up so many doors in your future, and you will have so many opportunities available to you. So, number one, you should be proud of yourself. But number two, man, I am proud of you. I've only met you via Zoom, and I'm proud of you. So let's talk about Mr. Carter a little bit. How has he impacted your life? What has he been able to kind of help you do?
Mr. Carter's awesome. He's been giving me that extra push I've always needed, and thanks to that, well, I'm starting to be the successful gentleman I should be.
Man. Well, good, dude. I'm sure all of your instructors are going to be very happy to hear that. I'm sure they're all going to be very proud of you, and I think that's absolutely fantastic. So, you dropped out of school. Prior to YouthBuild, had you held other jobs?
No, I've never had an actual 9-to-5 or an 8-hour job,
Okay.
I've done little side jobs here and there with my relatives, but I've never had an actual job.
So this was your first real entrance into the working world. Was there anything that surprised you or really challenged you, or you were like, man, I don't know if I can do this?
Well, pretty much the whole program's been a challenge to me because I had no a drive, something
right.
That'll make me want to do better and do more for myself. Now that I joined the program, I want to do better for myself. I want to see a brighter future. I want to get my things together. I want to do all that good stuff.
Yeah, and if you don't believe that there can be a brighter future for you, it's going to be really hard for you to try to go out there and chase it. So obviously there was a light bulb moment for you where somewhere along the line you went from, man, I don't know, I'm just kicking it with my homies all day, to, man, I have to make my life better, and I've got to, you know, take responsibility and take ownership of things. And the fact that you did that, dude, it really does speak to the maturity of you. It speaks to the kind of young man that you are, and more so, it speaks to the kind of man that you will become. So, let's take a look in the future, and let's talk about that man that you want to become. You've mentioned that you want to get into the Carpenters Union. What kind of personal goals do you have? Why do you want to get this better life? What does that mean to you?
Well, the better life I'm trying to seek, or that I'm trying to, the stuff I'm trying to do, I'm trying to. Well, my first goal was getting my diploma, then my license, and then I'm trying to get a job inside the Carpenters Union. And once I have that, you know, I want to. Well, they're helping me one step at a time, but
right.
I'm taking it slowly. Well, I'm just seeking a better future, pretty much.
Okay.
And thanks to the program, they're allowing me for that to happen.
Okay. So I know you mentioned it earlier. You said cars, you said boats, you said those kind of things.
Yeah, man, I want all that good stuff.
Well, and it can all be yours, man. It honestly can. You know, it's just, if you're willing to put in the work and you're willing to kind of do the things that you need to do, those are obtainable goals, and those are things that you can reach. You also said that you were going to try to get out of your neighborhood. Now, is that something where you want to leave Compton in general, or maybe you just kind of want to get into a little bit better of an area?
I think I would just choose a better area. I'm always gonna come back to Compton. This is my city, but yeah.
I'm glad you have that hometown pride, dude. And there's something to be said about people like that. That this is my city, this is where I'm from, and for you know, good and bad, I love this place, and I think that's awesome, man. I really genuinely do. I think more people need to be like you, and more people need to kind of have that sense of pride, and that sense of, you know, this is my city, and I'm going to make it a better place. I'm going to make my life better. I'm going to make my city better, and, you know, make your world better through that. How has YouthBuild helped you take those steps? What do you feel like, you know, they've done that have helped you, you know, get that driver's license or get that diploma, or, you know, start to realize yourself? Like, what are the things that they've done that made you kind of change your mind?
Well, they've pretty much been responsible for all my success. I've put my little part into it, but it's been mainly the program. I'm gonna put it to you like that, because I'm gonna be real with you. Thanks to the program, I'm heading towards the right direction, the direction I should have gone a long time ago.
Bro, I don't want you for 1 second to be too humble right here, because, my man, yes, the program has helped you, but you have put in a lot of hard work. You have put in a lot of effort. You have put in the blood, sweat, and tears, dude, and you deserve all that credit. So don't, you know, I'll admit that the program has helped, but I will also tell you, man, you deserve so much of that credit. So pat yourself on the back a little bit there, my man. So one of the things I ask every guest on the podcast is, you know, I think the world has a lot of, you know, maybe preconceived notations of what are young people and why aren't they going to work and why aren't they living their best lives. And you're one of those people. You know, I'm sure a lot of society could look at you and say, like, oh, he's from Compton, doesn't have a job, doesn't have a diploma, this dude ain't nothing, he ain't ever going to be nothing. What do you wish those people knew about you, your struggle, who you are, and kind of what you faced in life?
Well, what can I say? It's pretty tough, because, like I said, all odds are against you, especially when you live in like a bad neighborhood. And normally the people or society expects you to fail if you stay in a bad neighborhood. And a lot of people don't know that there's a lot of people with hidden potential, and they can't find it. No one helps them. No one pushes them towards their goal. Yeah, it's a lot to it.
No, man, I get it, and I agree with you 100%. I'll just give you a little bit about me. I come from a very nice suburb. You know, I had a family that was very supportive of me, was always in my corner, always trying to get me to do better, always trying to push me. But when I was your age, man, I was still making a lot of mistakes. I was still really messing up in life. And I've always said to myself, if I couldn't do it with all those advantages and all those people in my corner, how difficult is it for somebody who never had that, somebody who never had their family and, backing them up, or never had the opportunity to kind of pursue their dreams. So, the fact that you've kind of been able to reinvent yourself and you've been able to kind of push yourself, like I said earlier, man, it really does speak to the kind of person that you are. So we're talking to Eladio Cruz, a current participant of YouthBuild USA. Eladio, we're going to have a lot of YouthBuild students across the nation and really across the world listening to this podcast, kind of hearing you. What advice would you give to them as they start their journey into YouthBuild?
The advice I would give to them would be to continue pushing forward, to open their eyes and, allow them to be helped, because a lot of people don't accept the help, and sometimes that help is actually needed.
Why? Why don't people accept that help? Because I think that happens all the time, dude.
It's crazy. I don't really have an answer for that, but it's like that. People don't want it. People don't like to get help. Then.
Yeah, I don't know if it's, they don't want to look weak, or they don't want to look like they're incapable, or they don't want to look vulnerable or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
But when it comes down to it, so many people just don't let the world know, hey, I'm struggling, or hey, I need help, or hey, can somebody just put a hand out and give me something? And then they end up left behind. And then all of a sudden it's like, man, my life didn't go the way I wanted it to, or I didn't reach that potential or anything like that. So,
you just said the story of my life. Sorry for cutting you off.
No, bro.
Story of my life.
No,
those exact words, all that you just said.
That was you.
Me, man.
That was you.
Yes, sir.
But the good thing is, Eladio, that is not you anymore, my friend. You have reinvented yourself. You have taken huge strides as a young man. I will just say that as somebody who's talked to you for about 20 minutes here, I'm just super impressed with you. You are obviously, an intelligent young man. The proof is in the pudding when it comes to how hard you're willing to work and how you can reinvent yourself and how you can be vulnerable. These are all the things that are going to make you a huge, huge success in the future. So I can't wait to get an update on you. I cannot wait to talk to you in the future, and we're going to make sure that we stay connected and make sure that there's an opportunity for me to reach back out to you. But Eladio, before we wrap things up, is there anything else you would like to say, or anybody you would like to shout out, or anything that you want to add here?
Well, I want to start off by telling everyone, to give that extra step of effort. Like there's a brighter future ahead. After the storm, the sun will pop out for everyone, and try harder, and don't give up on yourselves.
That's beautiful.
And I want to send a shout out to the wonderful teacher, Mr. Carter. And yeah, that's about it.
Fantastic stuff right there. Representing YouthBuild Compton, Eladio Cruz, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today.
Thank you very much.
On the cusp of realized potential, Eladio Cruz proves that even in a city as notorious as Compton, there are still people striving to improve their lives and their communities. Rich with grit, intelligence, and positivity, oftentimes the only thing these communities and people need is opportunity. The Voice of Opportunity Youth podcast was produced at the Project Rebuild Studios in beautiful Canton, Ohio. Our podcast music was provided by thepodcasthost.com, where you can find your own free podcast music. On behalf of the YouthBuild universe, I'm Matt Fantone, and I sincerely thank you.